Yo, what's good everybody? I'm your boy Jadiro, and today we'll be talking about Diablo 4 Season 4 and the PTR. It's gonna be dope. So as you guys know, Diablo 4 has been getting some like less than positive reviews lately, and I'm actually just happy to see that Diablo 4, since the last campfire, has actually kind of brought it around. I'm actually interested to see what Season 4 has to offer this time. And additionally, the PTR goes live tomorrow, so I'll also show you guys how to get on the PTR if you don't already know. But yeah, let's get right into it and start going over the notes. So first off, we got the itemization. So this is something that the Diablo 4 community has been crying out for since the release, I'm pretty sure. But let's go over some of the things they're doing. So they're reducing the number of affixes now on legendary items by 3, and on rare items to 2. So what that means to me is they're trying to reduce the amount of affixes and stop making it so complicated to understand. And they're going to reduce it down to 3 affixes that you can understand from reading it off the hop, you know? You see it, you know what you're getting, bing bang boom, you're done. So the second thing that stood out to me is only sacred items will be dropped in World Tier 3 and only ancestral items will be dropped in World Tier 4. That's awesome. So that means while we're questing and we're in the end game of World Tier 4, we won't have to worry about picking up sacred items that we're just going to junk anyways. I feel like this will be huge for like time management, getting back into questing, crafting, you know, all the new things that they're adding. I think this will really help. It kind of filters out all the garbage that we don't want while we're questing through the game, and it's just quality of life, you know. Depending on the world tier that you're in, it's going to give you what you need and what you want. And I also noticed something here. They're saying the affix values are tuned up to be punchier. So what I think that means is, at least from the campfire's point of view and what I saw in the campfires, they're going to tune these affixes to feel like they're significant, that you could actually feel in game the significance of the affix that you have. So I appreciate that. It's not like we're just like min-maxing before level 100 and we're trying to feel the difference. It sounds like we'll be able to feel a difference in the items right away. And the last thing that stood out to me here is the new affixes that they're adding, especially the lucky hit apply vulnerable. That's huge. A lot of the time on the Paragon board, we'd always go exploit to apply vulnerable. Now we're going to have items that apply vulnerable. So the question for me and why this stands out to most to me is I wonder if that's going to change how we do the Paragon board now as well. Another one that stands out here is life per hit. So I remember that from Diablo 3. And now I want to know if this is actually going to matter. Like I want to know, like they said, it's going to be more punchier. The affixes will feel more punchier. So I wonder if life on hit will actually be something that that's sought after, something that you want to chase. Because that sounds pretty strong from what I can gather. Like I don't know what the exact numbers are from damage to how much life you have, but I would assume that life per hit would give you a little bit more survivability. So I'm really interested to see the significance of life per hit. But the one that really caught my eye is lucky hit apply vulnerable. Now down to the miscellaneous updates. Legendary items dropped from enemies or enemy level 95 and up are always 925 item power. That's awesome. So what that means simply is enemies above level 95 are always going to drop the max power level on items. They also mention here that gems are simpler, more useful, and have a much longer crafting tail. It does say gems have more core stats, so I don't know if that means to the core ability. I think it means like more core stats like strength, dexterity, intelligence, and so forth. And then we're going to go down to the salvaging here, and what this to me says that they're reducing the drop rates, which means I think they're trying to have us not only in the game more, but they're also trying to make our bag space, you know, not get encumbered so fast, you know, and that's having more stash tab space. So I feel like that's pretty cool too. Additionally, with the item re-rolling, and the gold cost is now capped, because you could pretty much re-roll an item and the affixes on like a rare item into infinity or even a legendary item. So I'm glad that they're capping the gold cost. In my personal opinion, I wish it only costed gold. Like sometimes gathering those resources it's not a fun grind, and you know, with whatever you're enjoying about the game, you might not always get the resources and materials you need to do a reroll. So hopefully moving forward, they will eventually just make it cost gold. And speaking on that, Forgotten Souls now can be obtained from Whisper caches and now have a global drop rate from elites, which is awesome. As you can see here, Forgotten Souls you could only farm when doing Helltide or by sacrificing or junking or salvaging sacred or ancestral items. So it's kind of cool that they're going to have like a global drop, and not only a global drop, you can get them from elites too. Also on the unique front, they're going to allow you to get some uniques in World Tier 1 and 2, and then all the uniques will be able to drop in World Tier 3. So that's pretty cool. So you'll get to experience on the more unique side of the game earlier on in the game. Now moving along here, we're getting into the new crafting system, which is tempering, which looks pretty sweet. And this system will allow you to add affixes to your items at the blacksmith through a new reusable item that can drop from most content in the game, called Temper Manuals. It also says that each manual contains a handful of affixes. You are able to attach one at a time. Affixes can be re-rolled up to the item's temper re-roll limit. So it sounds like on the item, you'll be able you'll have a limit of the times you can reroll. And it looks like in the little tiny image here, tempered durability is 5 or 3. I can't see on this screen. It looks like a 5. So it means you'll have 5 chances to reroll and get the affix of your choice. And ancestral items will have 2 tempered affixes. So you'll be able to do 2 of these on an item that's ancestral enough. And what's great about this is that you'll be able to have more of a unique build. Like, you know, in this case, it shows Bone Spirit, you know, increases the size of Bone Spirit. Now you can imagine having 2 different affixes on top of that, right? You could really start getting to some really unique builds with that. And I think that's at the meat and potatoes of ARPGs. People want a certain sense of uniqueness and a certain sense of identity when they're playing this game. It's not only about the character you're making, it's also about like being able to make more builds and have more of a unique experience. And there's so much more about it too that looks really dope, like greater affixes, but I want to jump into masterworking here. And this is a late game crafting system to upgrade items using materials gathered from the pit, and we'll go over the pit later. Let's just start in the pit now. And it looks like what the pit is, if you play Diablo 3, it looks like the Greater Rift. And when I say it looks like it, it is. Basically, you're at a certain level in World Tier 4, you're able to jump into an obelisk and it's like a grind. It's like a timed grind, and you get to push through it. And it seems like those resources you gather from there will go into the masterworking. So it seems like they're taking some old ideas and bringing them into Diablo 4 and trying to make the game have some more end game content to do. So I can appreciate that, right? Because when you get to level 100, you're looking for more things to do, and this is great. So this will be a great way to not only grind and still play the game, but you'll also be able to start working with the masterworking, the new masterworking feature that they're adding, which is awesome. I love Greater Rift, by the way. Let me know in the comments if you guys like Greater Rifts too. And what it looks like too, just to mention here, is there's different tiers. So depending on how much you complete and how soon and how quickly you complete it, you get different tiers unlocked. So it seems like there's a grind within a grind, which I can really appreciate. But let's jump back here into the Codex of Power update. So this is a cool quality of life one. I'm so happy for this. I don't know how many other people like myself have this problem, but I always found I filled up my stash tabs with affixes because there's certain builds I wanted to do, and you know, I wasn't going that build at the time. So now it's all like in this super glossary where like you don't have to store it in your stash or in your stash tabs. It's like it's the Codex of Power, right? You can basically go into a separate menu, and depending on which affixes you've collected, it'll all categorize it and have it in a glossary for you. So you don't have to keep looking or disenchanting a weapon to get the affix you want. If you disenchant it once, you'll have it forever. So that's a huge quality of life upgrade in my opinion. Now I'm gonna go quickly over Helltide Reborn. It says not final here in the picture, but I believe they're just trying to rework the Helltide to be more enjoyable, because I think the resounding noise coming back from the community was that not a lot of people were enjoying the Helltide grind, that it was quite boring and it was just to farm resources, which I feel like they're not taking away from it. I feel like they're just trying to make it more enjoyable. So I'm glad that they're reworking Helltide as a whole. I don't need to go over the notes here. I could just tell from this is that it's in development, and they heard the community that they're working on making the Helltides more enjoyable. And if you're making anything more enjoyable in this game, I'm all for it. And another cool thing that they're adding for the more hardcore players is the boss ladder, which is awesome. So it's like your Duriel run, your you know, any of the bosses essentially. It looks like they're creating a ladder system for you. And the Tormented Echoes will be level 200, which is nuts. And all items dropped are 925. The only problem I saw with the boss ladder here is that you'll be able to get a spark for your first time reward. Only one. Now, the problem for me is that you need 5 of these to get an Uber Unique. Now, there's some players out there that can drop 16 hours a day into this game, and they can grind this game endlessly to get all the Uber Uniques they want, and that is achievable for them. But there's also a side of the community that doesn't get to play this game every day and sink that much amount of time into it, that will probably never see an Uber Unique unless they change something like this. Now, my only point here is that whether you're you know, a diehard player that wants to play this game all the time and drop 16 hours at a time, or you're a player that can only play every so often, you know, it shouldn't be to the point where it's unachievable for some. You know, I think anyone that plays this game wants to have at least one Uber Unique, you know, or maybe 2, or at least be able to grind towards it. So I feel like if we could make it fair play, that you know, you can grind towards something, achieve Uber Uniques that way, I think that'd be better. Like maybe you should get a spark every time you complete one of these. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like, you know, you can have like a challenge day where you go out and you fight Uber bosses to get a spark. Like, I think that'd be reasonable. But I just don't want it to be Uber Uniques to be at a point where it's so rare that why am I even chasing it, right? If it's in the game, I think everyone should experience it, and that's just my personal opinion. You know, I'm in the middle of being able to play this game enough to know enough about it, and you know, but I can't spend every waking hour in playing this game. You know, I have a family and stuff, so real life problems. But let's conclude this here. I don't want to go over too much. I'm really just excited to play in the PTR, but what I like about it too is it looks like it'll be dropped right into the PTR. If you are going to play in the PTR, you'll be able to jump right into level 100 and experience the end game for yourself. It looks like they give you a bunch of stuff here, like, you know, 100 million gold, 1,000 ovals, 2 random sets of ancestral gear. So it looks like it's kind of like a roulette of what you're going to get. Almost, it's almost like it'll be random. I don't know. It doesn't say if you get to pick the character you want to play or not, but it says you'll be able to go right to level 100, and you'll get a whole bunch. They're going to give you a whole bunch of stuff to play test with. And the fog of war will be completely cleared, which is awesome. So this will be my first time on a PTR, so I'm really excited to see what that experience is like. And I'll definitely be live streaming it on the channel, so guys, come check it out if you want. If you guys just want to come out, hang, kick it, you know, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see you guys there. So it's saying how to install the PTR. So this is one thing I wanted to mention. I'll chapter this in the video. I don't know how long this video will be, but I'm really looking forward to a cool season of Diablo 4. I think I've said it enough times already. But it looks like what you got to do. So let's close down the notes here. So I remember when this game came out for pre-release, you were able to play it before it actually dropped. And it was right here where you could switch the game version, and you could switch it to, you know, there was pre-release and then there's the actual Diablo 4 game. So I feel like you'll be able to select from this drop down tomorrow, I guess. I'm on the East Coast, so probably 11 a.m. East Coast time that I'll be able to select it. Or it might be up here. I don't think this is the play button, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be here, and you're going to be able to select the Diablo 4 PTR version. That's what it said in that box previous to that's what it said previous to the box. So let's like how to install the PTR one more time. So that's pretty much what it says. It says open the Blizzard Battle.net app and select Diablo 4 from your games list. So that's pretty much what we do. All right, we select it from here. Let's go back. Look at this. You guys are getting this in real time. Thank me later. And then select the play button. So it will be under the play button, and there'll be a drop down menu where you can select the public test realm from Diablo 4. So that's pretty sweet. So it seems like we'll be, you know, we'll see tomorrow. I'm definitely going to live stream it tomorrow. Oh, there's my character. That's my druid. So it looks like we'll be able to play tomorrow, and yeah, it should be dope, guys. I hope this was informative. I try to keep it simple. I can only explain and give the information based off of, you know, how much experience I have with the game. So hopefully, if there's any you know, players like me out there, or even not, or even, you know, beginners or even pros, hopefully something from this was valuable to you. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, to end off this video, I have one question for you. Let me know down in the comments. You don't have to, but I appreciate it if you participate. Are you guys interested in the PTR? Do you think Diablo Season 4 is the B's and E's? Do you think this is the one to change the game and make it a better game for everyone? Let me know down in the comments, guys. And guys, don't worry about liking and subscribing. If you guys simply watch this video, that's all I can ask for. And I hope I brought some value to your life. Well, that's it for me. I'm your boy Jadiro. Sign out for now. Peace.